our teachers have been right all these years. Everything is an opportunity to learn. Endless education. What? Oh, I'll stop. Welcome back, future OTs. Thank you for clicking on this video. So today's video is going to be another weekly reflections of an OT student. So I'm in my 4th year, my final year of occupational therapy in Australia. So these are just some of my reflections from the past week. So during the beginning of this past week, the importance of running through and practicing sessions or group sessions really was reinforced this week. Previously in a pediatric placement, I really found that running through my sessions, physically walking through if I had the time within the room, like we're going to go here, we're going to do this activity, and then I'm going to take them out here. Actually kind of playing out how I envision the session to go helped me to help the session run more smoothly. I find I say that a lot. Sessions running smoothly, but that's kind of the aim. Obviously with kids and even with adults, you have to have room for flexibility and kind of be ready to go wherever, in that case, the child takes you. But I found that by running through or role-playing kind of the transitions between activities or tasks, I found removed the clumsiness or the awkwardness that might have happened if I hadn't done that. If I hadn't really thought through, well, how are we going to get from this room to this room? What might happen in the process? Are they going to get distracted or things like that? I found just even the shortest of run-throughs can be beneficial. So this week when I was working with another student where it was going to be more of a leader facilitator role for a group session, it was important for us to run through who's going to do what, who's going to, if there's music, who's going to change music, turn the lights on, move the furniture out the way, who's going to hand out this, who's going to say this. So all those little things. You can imagine if we hadn't talked about at least some of them during the group sessions. I thought you were going to do, would you mind just quickly, it'd be causing interruptions. So really the aim was to make all these little transitions and little to-dos during the session, like turning on and off the lights or closing blinds or things that had to be done kind of behind the scenes. By talking about this beforehand, it reduced the amount of awkwardness or stop-startness that could have happened during the sessions. And so over the weeks, when I continued to work with the same peers and we kind of get more of a handle on our different styles, hopefully our sessions will become even more seamless and there's no gaps or no looking at each other like, remember, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. But even so, we are even kind of developing our own eye contact, with your friends. Usually can communicate a few different things just by giving them a certain look and they know, or I think we have this one for like wrap it up. So just kind of developing and getting to know each other and what's going to work for us to help, if we're in a facilitator role, helping the leader and supporting them, and just making sure, when I see the facilitator role is supporting the leader. So when I say leader, it's the therapist running the group, doing the little behind the scenes, helping the participants kind of stay on track so the leader doesn't have to worry about so much of those little disruptions or distractions, and things like changing a PowerPoint slide, or if they forgot to grab something before starting activity, quickly go grab it for them and give it to them before they've even realized they've forgotten it. Just kind of really just helping the session run smoothly from the sidelines almost. So I've been learning more about that and what the needs are of my peers and how I can help them best, and how we both work in the different roles. So one day I might be facilitating, the next day I might be leading, and even within those only 2 roles, we both might have different leadership styles or different ways we like to facilitate. So it's really about debriefing and communicating, especially during those run-throughs we would do. I think that was really important for us to do, to find out, so during this activity, I'd really appreciate you doing this or keeping an eye on this. So really making our expectations explicit to each other so we're on the same page during the session. So something else that we found, So something else that we found important to do during our preparation for group sessions was, so obviously we're going to be giving instructions for activities. However, how you might imagine an activity or understand it, for example, an activity you'd probably be pretty familiar with, such as like charades or Simon Says, you actually have to think about how you would really simply explain the activity, giving clear instructions. So you might think, oh yeah, I know how to play charades, or yeah, I get how to do Simon Says, yeah, I'll be able to explain that in the group, though it'll be fine. Like, don't even think about it. But actually, when you stop and practice explaining the activity out loud, it can actually be quite difficult. So really, what we found useful this week was breaking down, well, what do I need them to do? So I'm going to need them to stand up. Okay, well that's going to be maybe the first step that you give them, stand up. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to split you in teams. So, all right, everybody stand up. Okay, so we're going to be in 2 teams, this group and this group. And so really break down what needs to happen for the activity to begin. So we found just like writing it down on a whiteboard. Well, what's the first thing you need them to do? What's the second thing you need them to do? Like breaking it down instead of getting overwhelmed with, oh my gosh, I can't explain this. Every time I try and explain this, it becomes more convoluted and confusing, because you really don't want to be giving people too many instructions, just the right amount of instructions. Simple, clear, and just get going. So we really found practicing how we were going to give instructions beforehand was just required. You need to do it. I also found this week, so I led my first group session this week. I'd put a lot of preparation in for it, and because you know things aren't always going to go to plan, as I think we probably said before within pediatrics, but even if you're working with adults or whatever age group, you have to be coming into it as with some flexibility and not being so rigid, and also not letting yourself get upset or annoyed at yourself if the group didn't go exactly how you planned it. Think about your overall aims for the group. Is it about fostering connectedness? Is it about helping people understand or create their identity, or just making stuff up now? So think about your ultimate aim. Was it just building rapport with someone? Was that really the ultimate aim of your one-on-one session with them? And did you get to do every single activity in the time frame you had planned in advance? Maybe not, but did you achieve or work towards your ultimate goal for the session? Maybe you did. So it's kind of taking wins or taking successes when you can, and not letting the end structure, how it ended up playing out, make you feel bad, if that makes sense. It's kind of reflecting on what went well and what was really positive about the session, and what didn't go well and why didn't it go well, and what can I do next time. So gosh, typical OT reflection, but we definitely did that after our sessions this week, and it is important for moving forward. So we're going to be doing more and more sessions, and in the future when we graduate, more and more sessions. So knowing now what our strengths are personally, and understanding how we could handle different group dynamics in the future, and really taking advantage of that debriefing reflection time afterwards, because each group is going to be different. If it's different group of participants, or even with the same group of participants every week, if it's the same people, different things can come up, different things can distract people. Every group is an opportunity to learn. Oh my gosh, that sounds so cheesy, but it's true. Our teachers have been right all these years. Everything is an opportunity to learn. Endless education. What? Oh, I'll stop. So yeah, I found that once I was feeling I was feeling a little anxious to get started, and ultimately you're not going to be prepared for exactly what's going to happen at what point in your session plan and who's going to do what and that sort of thing. But I was happy with the amount of preparation I did, and I just remember feeling towards the end of the session, where it was a more unstructured part of the session, just feeling a release, like a release of stress. I'm like, oh, we've got here. It flew by. I really was kind of swept away in the group, and I wasn't so focusing on, oh gosh, Talia, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that. Oh god. I was just kind of in the group, and I felt like I was really just a part of the session, which is I think what we're aiming for, to be really interactive and insert ourselves within the group. Because during the end session, I just kind of almost sat back for a second and realized, oh, it's almost over, and I kind of don't want it to end. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying this different type of interaction by being the leader of the session this week. It was last week, kind of observed more sessions. So this is something that I think I'm going to enjoy getting better and getting more skills out and experience in each week, and hopefully I don't lose the enjoyment of it, because it can be fast-paced and exciting and you don't know what's going to happen next, but you still need to be in control, and you need to have a sense of where the group's going and what's going to happen next. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but right now. So overall, I've had a really positive week. I think I was more tired this week. However, something I really enjoyed was I saw how a group's connectedness can give someone an opportunity, or the strength to overcome a barrier, or how a group's connectedness can give an individual the strength and confidence to overcome a barrier, whether it's just speaking or sharing something. How a group of people can make an individual feel and support them, and give them support and make them feel comfortable and confident in sharing something personal, or showing something. Or it was obviously I have to be vague for confidentiality, but it was a really nice experience to see. And I think, I guess that is another ultimate goal for group sessions, is really developing that group cohesiveness and connectedness, where individuals can kind of come out of their shells and feel that confidence in sharing part of themselves with everybody else, because they feel so supported and understood, I guess, on some levels. So I saw some really nice examples of that this week. So I guess that really kind of honed in on the importance of building and fostering group dynamics, and the buzzword, I guess, connectedness within the group, and the positive and big impacts it can have just within one session. Yeah, enjoying that. And more on an individual basis, the power of checking in with someone, or just sitting down for 5-10 minutes and talking to someone, even though you don't need to, you're not required to. I think this is just something in general we should be doing more often in our everyday lives, with our friends, our family, checking in with people. We all have 5-10 minutes here and there, whether it's sending a message, or whether it's stopping on your way somewhere if you see someone, and not just saying hi, but if you have time, stopping, how's it going, and actually caring, not just being someone who's politely saying, oh no, how's it going, but not really wanting to know the real response, if that makes sense. So I've definitely seen the importance this week of listening and showing someone that you actually are there to listen, and giving them an opportunity that they might not had yet, or feel like they've had, to be heard. I don't know about that wording. It's important for people to feel like they're heard. I've definitely seen examples of that this week, of giving someone that opportunity and just sitting down and them just going like that, and just kind of, so the power of just checking in with someone, I think it's important for all of us to do, and kind of reinforcing that you're there to listen to them and you care what they have to say can just be through non-verbals, like nodding, not kind of looking away or doing different things. Just think about how if someone's really listening to you in a conversation. If they're kind of they're not really following a conversation. You can really tell when someone's more deeply engaged and involved in the conversation you're having with them, and I think most people can tell that and feel that and appreciate that. And even if someone brushes you off and says, oh no, I know you don't really care about this, or I don't want to bother you with all this information, or blah blah, and reassuring them and being like, no, I'm here for you right now, I'm focused on you, just go, I'm here to listen, this is your time. Kind of even if it's blatantly giving them the opportunity. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to know what's going on for you right now. People really can appreciate that. Not everyone's going to be in the... there's the right moment for someone who wants to share something. We're not all in the, you know, the right space to want to share everything, but you might just catch someone one day and it ends up being the perfect opportunity or the right timing for them, where they really needed to talk to someone or have someone listen to them, feel heard. So I think, yeah, all of us can really do better with this, with people in our personal lives and professional lives. Just checking in with people, checking in, I'm saying that a lot. Just checking in with people. Also been learning more about formulation and clinical reasoning and feeling more confused. Yeah, that's something I'm trying to work on this weekend and kind of looking up. It's not so much the formulation, but more the next step of like, what are the main points, the clinical reasoning from this, but not the next step, which is recommendations and where to go through from here. Because I feel like I'm kind of getting the formulation, kind of. This I'm not getting. Recommendations, I feel like I'm skipping to that, and I just, this in between step I'm still trying to figure out. So some things I'm going to be doing to work on this more clinical reasoning area is really utilizing models such as MOHO, for example, the different aspects of MOHO to guide my clinical reasoning and to guide me when I'm trying to formulate the main points of a case, and as well as looking at literature, or more literature around formulation such as occupational formulation. So I feel like there's just something I'm missing or not getting right now, so hopefully during the next week's reflection I can report back that I kind of get it more now. There was a light bulb moment, but at the moment I'm just not, there's something I'm not understanding, so I'm trying to, you know, do my own research and figure it out on my own before I go and, you know, directly ask someone like, what is this? I just don't get it. Because I feel like it's more helpful and more beneficial for you as well if you do your own, you know, digging, you do your own research, and you try and come up with as much information as you can and think through and reason as much as you can, and then go to the person and say, this is what I've done so far, this is what I've tried, this is my thinking, and I'm still confused on this, I think it might be this. Really showing them that you have tried, you're not just going to them every single question you have, you're taking, what's the word? You're taking responsibility for your learning. Got it. Oh my god, that's what I was trying to think. Okay. Taking responsibility for your own learning. That is exactly what I was trying to think of. Okay. So it shows them that you're taking responsibility for your own learning and your own development as a clinician, whether you're a student or you're a graduated clinician. I'm sure it's the same thing when you go to a supervisor or an educator. You show them what you've done so far and that you are trying and you've really gone out of your way to answer the question yourself, but you're still having difficulty. So telling them what you know so far and what you think so far, I think is beneficial for you and shows them that you actually take initiative and you're responsible for your own learning. Just saying that 100 times now. So yes, so overall my reflections for this week have been learning more about really getting into that leadership and facilitator role in group sessions, learning how to work well with my peers and knowing our strengths, and really debriefing and looking at each session as an opportunity to learn and take away things that worked and things I want to change for next time, as well as learning the power of listening and checking in with someone, whoever it is, in whatever setting, importance of everyone feeling heard. And also formulation and clinical reasoning, I will get there. Let's be positive, we will get there. So those are my feelings and reflections for the week. Thank you for sticking around this long if you had. My name's Talia and I hope you subscribe, like, share, comment. Let me know down below how your week's been going, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys. So your mission for this week is to check in with 3 people in your personal life to see how they're going and be genuine about it. Show them that you're really there to listen and that you care what they have to say. Your goal is to make them feel listened to and heard.